When your friend sends you 50 reels you didn't ask for, they don't just appear on your screen. They go through multiple layers behind the scenes, and the real story starts at the bottom, not the top. So let's follow that journey, from the first signal that reaches your house all the way to your screen. Physical layer. At the very bottom of the network stack, everything starts with something physical: a wire, a light pulse, a radio signal. The physical layer doesn't care what the data means. It only cares about one thing. Can we move bits from point A to point B? Those bits are just ones and zeros, represented as voltage levels on a copper cable, flashes of light through fiber optics, or radio waves through the air. The medium changes, the job doesn't. Back in the 1970s, as engineers started building early networks, they ran into an immediate problem. Devices from different manufacturers couldn't talk to each other because nobody agreed on the basics. What voltage means a 1? What frequency carries the signal? The physical layer standards solved that. Without them, nothing above it could exist. Data link layer. Now here's where things get more structured. Raw bits flying across a wire are only useful if the receiving device knows what belongs to it. The data link layer handles that. It takes those bits and packages them into organized units called frames. Each frame carries a MAC address. Think of it as a hardware ID burned into every network card at the factory. When a frame arrives on a local network, every device sees it, but only the one with the matching MAC address actually accepts it. This layer also runs a quick sanity check on incoming frames to catch anything corrupted in transit. It's split into two sublayers under the hood, one managing how devices share access to the same wire, and one bridging the gap between physical signals and the logical network above. Network layer. Getting data between two devices on the same cable is one thing. Getting it from New York to Tokyo, hopping across dozens of different networks along the way, that's a completely different challenge. That's what the network layer was built for. Instead of hardware addresses, this layer uses IP addresses, which are logical identifiers assigned to devices. Every time a packet of data needs to travel beyond the local network, a router steps in, reads the destination IP address, checks its routing table, and forwards the packet one hop closer to where it needs to go. This happens over and over, hop by hop, until the packet arrives. The Internet Protocol developed in the late 1970s made this possible. The core idea hasn't changed since. Transport layer. Getting data to the right network is progress, but making sure it actually arrives completely in the right order and without silent gaps, that's a different responsibility. The transport layer manages communication end-to-end between two applications, no matter how far apart they are. It breaks large chunks of data into smaller segments, numbers them so they can be reassembled correctly, and controls how fast data flows to avoid overwhelming the receiver. Here's the key part. Two very different approaches exist at this layer. TCP guarantees delivery. It tracks every segment, sends acknowledgments, and retransmits anything that gets lost. UDP doesn't bother with any of that. It sends as fast as possible and moves on. For video calls, live streams, or online gaming, a tiny bit of lost data is far less disruptive than the delay caused by waiting to resend it. So the choice between TCP and UDP comes down to a simple trade-off: reliability versus speed. Session layer. While data is flowing reliably between two machines, there's still the question of managing the conversation itself. The session layer handles that. It sets up, coordinates, and closes sessions between applications, keeping separate conversations distinct from one another. If you're streaming a video and doing online banking at the same time, the session layer keeps those two data streams from mixing. It also introduces checkpoints into long transfers. If something interrupts a large file download halfway through, a checkpoint allows it to resume from where it left off rather than starting over. In practice, many modern protocols handle session management internally, so this layer often works quietly in the background. But the function it performs is still very real. Presentation layer. Two systems can have a perfectly stable connection and still fail to understand each other. Different operating systems, different encoding formats, different character sets, they all create translation problems. The presentation layer solves them. It sits between the application and the rest of the network, converting data into a format the receiving system can actually read. Character encoding, image format conversions, data compression, all of it happens here. Encryption lives here too. When a browser locks down a connection before sending your login details, the process of scrambling that data into ciphertext and decoding it on the server's end is the presentation layer doing its job. It's one of the quieter layers, but it's what makes cross-platform communication seamless. Application layer. This is where everything meets the user. Not the apps themselves, the browser, the email client, the file transfer tool, but the protocols those apps rely on to communicate across a network. HTTP and HTTPS move web pages. SMTP and IMAP carry email back and forth. DNS translates a domain name like google.com into an IP address a router can actually use. FTP handles file transfers between systems. Every time you load a page, send a message, or download a file, a protocol at the application layer is defining exactly how that request gets made and how the response comes back. It's the layer closest to what people actually experience, which makes it easy to forget how many layers had to work perfectly beneath it to make it happen. And that's all 7 layers of the OSI model, from the raw signal traveling down a wire, all the way up to the app you're using right now to watch this video. If this helps something click for you, a like goes a long way. And subscribing means the next time a concept like this comes up, you'll already be here. Thanks for watching.